Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Jessica Bantefa and you can call me Jess. If this is your first time here, then you should know that I post 60% content on career tips and 40% on lifestyle and my personal interest. In today's video, I will be sharing a very short overview of my career and work experience. If this is something that you might be interested in listening more to, then please stick around to the end of the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you. Welcome back and thank you for sticking around, and I hope that you subscribed. Let's get into it. So I have over 7 years experience in human resource management with special focus in talent acquisition. Okay, so I did a lot of recruiting and selection in my first years as a HR professional, because I started my career in consulting. So I worked with 3 HR consulting firms before I got into tech. So I'm going to focus on the HR consulting firms for a little bit, and then I'll dive into tech. 3 firms in Lagos, and basically my roles were very similar. So I played very similar roles in these different companies. I would try to summarize my role there just so that I don't spend too much time talking about it per company. That would take some time. So if you're familiar with the consulting space, then you know a lot of them do more than one thing. So I was opportunity to have worked with these 3 companies who were doing recruiting, who were doing training, who were doing HR setup and re-engineering for startups and SMEs, etc. So I was involved in a lot. But majority of my work was around recruiting from time. So recruitment was always like bread and butter in consulting firms. Like that's for many consulting firms at least, especially the small ones. It was bread and butter, meaning this was their primary source of income, and every other thing felt like jara, you know what I mean? So a lot of recruiting. So I would say that I managed and led recruiting cycles from like end-to-end recruiting cycles for so many different roles in different industries at different levels. So industries, I mean, I don't think there's any industry that I haven't hired in, especially in Nigeria. I've hired in tech, I had hired in FMCG, I'd hired in telecoms, I had hired in any financial institution, because the 3 companies that I worked with also did outsourcing for some of the banks in Nigeria. So a lot of bank hiring, a lot of graduate hiring, a lot of experience hiring as well. I've even hired for oil and gas. I can't even think of the industries. Like, think about any industry I've hired there, trust me. So I did a lot of hiring in these different industries across different levels. So the levels varied from graduate trainee hiring to extremely experienced. So I'm thinking, well, more like you think, anything that has to do, like, I don't know, think the most senior executive role you can possibly think of, I hired it. So a lot of hiring. And I also worked on non-recruitment projects like training, HR setup, HR re-engineering, developing policies and manuals for our clients, that type of thing. And I know that in my the second consulting firm that I worked with was a little bit more exciting than the others, because there was an e-commerce platform at the time. So we did a lot of roadshows when it came to job fairs, career fairs. So we did a lot of planning. That was exciting for me at the time, because that's something obviously that that I'm passionate about. If you watch my first video, I'm very passionate about anything employability. So we did a lot of mentorship as well to a lot of fresh graduates. We did NYC boot camps. Like, we did a whole lot outside of like your day-to-day recruitment, or you're trying to like fill a requisition for a client. So we were very in touch with graduates in Nigeria. We went to schools, we planned a lot of events, we collaborated with a lot of big boys in the industry, and did a lot when it came to this helping like empower the youth and also build employability skills for our graduates in Nigeria. So that was very exciting for me. Yeah, because I didn't get the chance to do a lot of that in the other companies that I worked at. So that was good. And then outside of that, of course, I managed, not of course, because you don't know, so I'm telling you that I also started to manage teams there. I started to manage recruiting teams for my first job, I think after about a year for a year and a half. I think a year. It's a small firm, so it was easy for me to grow. It was easy for anyone to grow as long as you were getting things done. It was easy. You get rewarded easily if you were, killing it. So I was killing it, and I got rewarded. Became promotion. So I became head of selection and recruiting and selection for first firm. Second firm was more fulfillment and collaboration with these different teams. And then the third one, I was head of human resources and recruitment as well, because it was also like a consulting firm. It was also a consulting firm, but I also had to do like in-house HR stuff for the employees that we had at the time. And then after that, I moved to tech. So tech has been my most exciting experience so far because, one, it's tech, it's tech. Two, the reason why I was really excited when I got the opportunity to move was because, it's a global space. So I had been doing a lot of local stuff when it came to HR, when it came to recruiting. So this was an opportunity to do this at a different level. So it was a big deal. And I think, I think those were the two major reasons. Okay, the third reason why I was really excited about that move or that transition, which was very important to a lot of recruitment consultants out there. Like if you are, or if you know a recruitment consultant or someone who started their experience in consulting, then you know that our goal was to get in-house, to become a recruiter in-house or to become a, HR officer in-house. Just, we wanted to do something in-house. So it was like the next step for you. So those three reasons really made it super attractive for me to move. I made it very easy for me to move. But of course, change, as much as constant, is also very challenging. So as much as it was great opportunity, it was also challenging in that I realized that things are being done so differently. Like they were two different worlds. So I had to do a lot of unlearning from my consulting background, like the experience I had here. I had to unlearn a lot before I could fully feel comfortable and transition fully into tech. So tech, wonderful experience, hiring all manner of people. I think about it, like I hired all sorts of people. And so basically I started off as a recruitment manager for Nigeria, as the first recruitment manager in the company. And that grew from like a one-man team to getting about 5 or 6 folks on the team. So I had a big team eventually, and this team basically was managing technical recruiting and non-tech recruiting. So I was responsible for the execution and strategy behind all of this hiring. So everything that had to do with designing and implementation of policies, of processes, and just whole talent acquisition strategy. I was responsible for that. And then my role eventually grew after exactly a year and a month or two, grew to accommodate one more country to my table. So I had recruitment manager as Nigeria, yes, and then I had Rwanda added to that. So that was exciting because Rwanda at the time was a new site for the company. So it was a lot of learning. It was a learning curve for me as well. So anything that has to do with learning, I'm down for it. Like as long as it gives me an opportunity to do what I can do and what I can learn. Like, what am I saying? It gives me an opportunity to do what I can do and an opportunity to learn something new. Jeez, Jess. Anyways, you get the point. So I was, very excited about the opportunity. So I was a huge part of building out the team, because the team there reported into me. So that was exciting. And then, of course, like collaborating with like leadership to map out the pioneer hires that we needed to set up the business there and get the business running. So that was good experience for me as well. So I have experience setting up new sites. Yeah. And then another year later, or a little under a year actually, my role expanded again to accommodate 4 more countries. So basically I became talent acquisition manager for Africa. A very huge opportunity. It was a little bit scary as well because I was equal parts excited and equal part, like I was just excitement and fear. I mean, it's change. So anything that has to do with a big change and a big responsibility where your role becomes more, visible in the business, your stakeholders will change. You're no longer a manager of 1, 2 countries. You're now managing 6, all the countries in Africa that the company had operations in. That was a big deal. And that was a huge learning curve for me, and I've learned so much. So yeah, so basically, I guess to summarize my experience there, I would say that a lot of, collaboration with leadership, just to build out the talent management strategy and acquisition strategy as well. What types of skills are we looking for in all of our candidates? Because we had to have, certain set skills that we needed to find in each person. And then of course, the ones that related to their niche or their roles or the functions or the departments, mapping that out. And also, because it's a startup, it had like a lot of changes, so that was super critical to be able to navigate through business changes as they arise. So a lot of change management, and then my team grew from what was like 5 or 6 or maybe 7 at a time if I add Rwanda folks to pretty much 12 or 13. So right now my role is a lot more global now because my tentacles have been spread and expanded, outside of Africa. A lot of hiring globally, so in Europe, in the US, North America, South America, Latin America, anywhere. Remember to subscribe to my channel if you haven't. I don't know how you get this far. You actually are watching me right now, like you're at this stage, you didn't fast forward this video and you haven't subscribed. Like, how far? Like, what's going on there? Why? Thank you. Because I know that you're going to subscribe now, so thank you in advance. Yes, so thank you, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye.